Who is a mysterious Mr. X? Crackpot or killer? Here's the Wikipedia. Leaving his job site, Buckeye. Last seen, not true. A federal law enforcement official relayed to Daniel's father. Even though he was a federal law enforcement official, up there in the middle of the day, target practicing in the middle of a wash, out in the middle of no place, that he had seen him later that morning cleaning his Jeep. He stated that Daniel seemed clear-headed and that they spoke briefly about target practice. The official confirmed there was no damage to the Jeep at this time. Okay, first of all, Wikipedia, anybody can put in there anything they want. And you're dealing with a situation where when they view them to see if a person is putting something in there that's wrong, they have no way of knowing it in a case where nothing is known. But this isn't just Wikipedia. I also read at a different time, I can't find it, I can't retrace back to it, that somebody said he was a hunter. So this federal law enforcement official, I'd lean towards it was a crackpot. Otherwise, he's the last person that saw him a few minutes before he crashed. But I lean more than 50-50 that the person was just a crackpot that supposedly relayed to Daniel's father. The police know nothing of this crackpot, this mysterious federal law enforcement official. Okay, now he could be being kept secret in case he was a federal drug official. But he's out there target practicing in the middle of the day, and then he mysteriously, well, I saw him, he seemed clear-headed to me, exactly the opposite of what people say. And they spoke briefly about target practice. The official confirmed there was no damage to the Jeep at this time. The official. So keeping in mind now, Wikipedia, I could put anything here. I would say the Jeep was on its front end and it was 3 miles away, this and that. It would go through unless somebody searches it out and said this is bullshit. But I lean towards the mysterious Mr. X is a crackpot, not a killer. However, there is the stuff about the Jeep which shows that he likely was being chased. Well, not likely, but could have been being chased. Now, here's Wagner Wash, and there's supposedly, I'm going by DJ Moore, this is where the Jeep was. Nobody will say, nobody will show where the Jeep was. But close to Wagner Wash, and the person said he saw him in Wagner Wash. And yet nobody can figure out who this person is. And yet he went through the back door and got word to David Robinson, the father, that he got word to him about this encounter. I think the father and the police may have just discounted it as a crackpot nut that called in, just like with Kylie and the others, that you have nuts that call in. I saw that vehicle down by Mexico. I memorized the license plate, and me and my father both talked about it. Well, it turns out she was full of shit. And they find her up in the lake. So I lean more than 50-50 that the person was a crackpot caller. Now let's look at adventures with porpoises. Well, it's not impossible. It's not impossible that they could go down here and sweep this. But what would be the reason for Daniel Robinson to go down there and be in the bottom of the lake? But if he's not found, which this hasn't been searched, only, barely up in the local area, it hasn't been searched. He's more likely going to show up along here. But to walk down here roughly 3 miles, no, a person could do that in a record time, especially at night with the moon. So I don't know if it's something they would do to go down and clear the lake. clear these gravel lakes and stuff, but they might look into it. It wouldn't harm anything, and they could do it in record time. But I don't picture Daniel Robinson pulling up here. Well, I'm going to go jump into this lake and swim down to the bottom, or die in the lake. He might be found in this area, but I don't think it's going to be in these lakes. But if Adventures with Porpoises goes down there, that they likely, especially in this area, will find stuff down in here. But anyway, that's a stretch. My opinion on Mysterious Mr. X is likely a crackpot caller. Likely a crackpot caller. If not, well then if it was not a crackpot caller, he was the last person to see him a few minutes before and could be the person chasing him.